Good evening, sir. My name is Venu Fitratama. In this section, I want to answer the question for my midterm test. The first chapter, Henry Fayol developed the beginning of a theory of administration. Review the major concepts from his theory. What are the relationships among the concepts? The principle of authority and responsibility implies a relation between the two ideas. And then, delegation of authority is the management tool used to get the desired degree of centralization or decentralization. And then the third, the principle of unity of command means an employee should receive orders from one superior only. A principle related to unity of command is unity of direction. One head and one plan for a group of activities having the same objective. And then the number 2, discuss the difference among dominance, compromise, and integration as approach to reducing conflict. Mary Parker Follett described this approach to conflict reduction. Does integration of desire impress you as a feasible approach to conflict reduction? Dominance means one side of a conflict wins over the other. And then, compromise means each side gives up something to settle the issue. And then the last, integration, is an approach to find a solution that fully meets the goals of each party in a dispute. Both parties gets what they want, neither party gives up anything. And then go to chapter 2. The first question is, reflect on the technological changes discussed earlier. Discuss the specific technological changes that will affect you in your work role. And technological changes that will affect the employee or me in work, for example, is massive changes of the computer program that changed in a year combined in change of technology. In working, some data in company, we must use the computer that can capable to organize data in good perform, and also the changes of the system as such. The changes indicate, for example, these are much of social media that can improve our work in company. And then for the number 2, discuss the issue that a global orientation raised for manager. Are those issue problem or opportunities for modern manager? How do you expect those issues to affect you in your work career? Well, the issue about global orientation today focus on how managers face the international focus or market problem that capable to change in advance. Modern manager must begin to think internationally. Thinking internationally means finding the market outside on the country and also look for development market outside of the country, which this can be an opportunity for a company in the future. This issue also an opportunity for manager to increase their quality of the work in company for predict the market. I'm expected in this issue that can improve the knowledge of how we can predict the market and can give us the profit from prediction market. And then we go to chapter 3. The question is, review the discussion about ethical absolutism and ethical relativism. Discuss the view of each position. Which position applies to modern ethical issues? From the book that I get, ethical absolutism is holds to a system of ethics applies to all people, everywhere and always. This absolutism refers to an authority such as religion, custom, or written code for support. And then for the ethical relativism says that ethical behavior is whatever a person or society says unethical or unethical. An ethical relativist sees ethics as based on personal feelings or opinion and reject the view the moral judgment have objective validity. And then, for the number 2, review the ethics theories described in the chapter. What are the implications for managing behavior in an organization of people having different ethical systems? Utilitarianism asks a person to examine the effect of an action to decide whether the action is morally correct under the guidelines. A right is a person's just claim or entitlement. The right can focus on what that person does or on the actors of others people toward him. Individual ethics egoism asks a person to judge his action only by their effects on his interests. And then, chapter 4, question number 1. What are the function and the dysfunction of organizational culture? What role do basic assumptions play in those function and dysfunction? The first function of culture is that it has a boundary-defining role, which means that culture helps to create distinction between one organization and others. And then, culture helps to create a sense of identity for the organizational members. And then the third, culture facilitates the generation of commitment to something larger than one's individual self-interest. Culture encourages the member of the organization to give priority to organizational interests over the above their personal interests. And then for the dysfunctional culture itself, the first is barrier to change. And then there is barrier to diversity. And then the last, there is a barrier to merger and acquisition. And then for the question number 2, discuss the procedure for diagnosing an organizational culture. What are the major ethical issues you need to consider when making such a diagnosis? Culture can act as a barrier to merger and acquisition. How to diagnosing organizational culture is the first. As an outsider, diagnosing the organizational culture as a potential employee can help us to decide whether the organization is where you can do well, thrive, and grow, or whether the culture will make demand that you are unwilling or unable to meet us. And then the second, as an insider, after we are joined the organization, we can begin to dig deeper into its culture, stories, and other things, and other important quality of the culture. And then the next, for the chapter 5, first question is self-concept, self-esteem, and self-presentation are the 3 parts of self-perception. How do you see yourself in each of these areas? Compare your self-view with how some close friends see you. Be prepared for some surprise. Well, self-concept is the set of beliefs people have about themselves. Like me, that I believe that I'm quite interesting or like that. And then, self-esteem is the emotional dimension of self-perception. It refers to the positive and negative judgment people have about themselves. And then the third, the self-presentation. It is the behavioral strategy people use to affect how others see them and how they think about themselves. And then, review the stereotype of people from different cultures in the chapter's international issues section. Are those stereotypes shared by other students in your class? I think it's like we as an Indonesian think that other people from Western is rarely take a bath. That's not true. That's just stereotype. They are same like us. They do bathing like twice a day. Not like what we think. And then from the last question, which is chapter 6, which of 3 types of moral behavior is most important for an organization? Why? Well, I think mm, pivotal role behaviors are behaviors a person must accept to remain a member of the organization. Such behaviors are tied to an organization's core values. The organization requires this behavior of all employees despite their backgrounds. Relevant role behaviors are behaviors the organization considers desirable and good, but not essential to membership. And then, peripheral role behavior are behaviors that are neither necessary nor desirable but allowed by an organization. So, the most important one is pivotal role behaviors. That's all my explanation. I hope you get the point, and thank you for giving us this question in order to increase our knowledge in organizational behavior.